Riley was born on a chilly autumn morning in a small town nestled between rolling hills and dense forests. From the moment he opened his eyes, he was different. Smaller than his littermates, weaker, and slower to crawl. His mother, a gentle golden retriever named Bella, nuzzled him carefully, sensing the struggles ahead for her fragile pup. The early days were tough. While the other puppies grew quickly, nursing vigorously, and learning to walk with confident steps, Riley struggled. He often lagged behind, unable to keep up. His tiny legs trembled as he tried to stand, and sometimes he simply collapsed from exhaustion. The humans who cared for the litter whispered among themselves, worried about whether he would survive. "He's just too weak," they said quietly. "Maybe nature will take its course." But Bella never lost faith in Riley. She would gently nudge him towards the warmth of her body, licking his soft fur, and staying close through the cold nights. It was her love that gave Riley the strength to push forward. She seemed to whisper, "You can do this, little one." Weeks turned into months. Riley's body slowly grew stronger, but the challenges never stopped. When he was just 2 months old, the family who had planned to adopt him returned him to the shelter, saying he was too weak and would never be a good pet. It was a crushing blow. Riley didn't understand rejection, but the sadness hung heavy in the air. For a moment, it felt like the whole world had turned its back on him. Yet, in that moment, a young woman named Emma came into his life. Emma had recently lost her own dog and was looking to adopt. When she saw Riley in the shelter, she saw beyond his small size and fragile frame, she saw courage and a spark that refused to die. She knelt down and met Riley's gaze. "I see you," she whispered softly. "And I believe in you." Emma took Riley home, wrapped him in a soft blanket, and whispered promises to care for him no matter what. That was the start of a new chapter. The first few weeks with Emma were challenging. Riley was scared of everything: loud noises, strangers, even his own shadow. His legs sometimes gave out, and he struggled to keep pace on walks. Sometimes he would stumble and fall, his eyes wide with confusion and frustration. But Emma was patient. She sat with him for hours, speaking softly, encouraging him to take tiny steps forward. Emma knew Riley needed more than love, he needed strength. She took him to a special veterinarian who worked with animals that had physical disabilities. The vet discovered that Riley had a mild neurological condition that made walking difficult but wasn't hopeless. The vet said, with physical therapy and support, Riley can live a full, happy life. It will take time and patience. With careful physical therapy, custom exercises, and loads of patience, Riley began to improve. He learned to balance better, his muscles grew stronger, and his spirit grew braver. But life wasn't done testing him yet. One rainy evening, when Riley was nearly 6 months old, he slipped on the wet floor and injured his leg badly. The vet had to perform surgery to repair a fractured bone. The recovery was long and painful. Riley couldn't walk for weeks, confined to a small crate, frustrated and restless. But Emma never left his side. She read stories to him, sang lullabies, and gently massaged his leg to help circulation. She stayed up nights, holding his paw, whispering encouraging words. Slowly, Riley's leg healed. He learned to walk again, this time with even more determination. As Riley grew older, his challenges shifted but never ceased. His neurological condition meant that some days were harder than others. Sometimes his legs would tremble uncontrollably. Sometimes he would stumble and fall without warning. But Riley had learned something important: he was not alone. Emma trained him with kindness and understanding. She adapted his living space so he could move safely. Soft rugs replaced slippery floors, ramps replaced stairs, and toys were always within reach. They found special wheels that supported his back legs, allowing him to run and play with renewed joy. Through it all, Riley's heart never gave up. Every time he fell, he got back up. Every time his legs failed, he found a way to keep moving. One summer afternoon, Emma and Riley went to a dog park. Riley watched from the sidelines as other dogs ran and played freely. He wanted to join but hesitated, worried about his limitations. Emma knelt beside him and said, "You're just as brave and capable as any of them. Let's give it a try." With the wheels supporting him, Riley trotted into the park. The other dogs noticed immediately, some curious, some playful. Riley wagged his tail excitedly. He chased a ball, barked happily, and even made a new friend, a lively border collie named Scout. Scout was fascinated by Riley's wheels and fearless attitude. That day marked a turning point. Riley realized that challenges didn't have to stop him. Instead, they made his successes even sweeter. One day, as Riley and Emma walked in the park, they met a group of children playing nearby. The children were fascinated by Riley's wheels and his courage. Emma explained how Riley had overcome so many obstacles to be there, wagging his tail and smiling. The children cheered, and Riley's tail wagged faster than ever. That day, something changed inside him. He realized that his journey wasn't just about survival, it was about inspiring others. Emma started taking Riley to schools, therapy centers, and community events. Riley became a symbol of hope, proof that challenges can be overcome with love, support, and perseverance. At a local school, Riley met a boy named Jake who was born with cerebral palsy. Jake was hesitant to try walking with his new wheelchair, feeling different and alone. But watching Riley's determination gave Jake courage. Over time, Jake began to take small steps, just like Riley. Emma helped organize Riley's Courage Days, events where people could learn about resilience, kindness, and the power of never giving up. Riley was the star of every event, his wagging tail and bright eyes lighting up the room. Riley's story spread far beyond their small town. People followed his journey online, celebrating each milestone. Riley received messages from all over, from people who were struggling themselves, children with disabilities, adults facing hardship, even other pet owners. Emma created a website sharing Riley's progress, tips for caring for dogs with disabilities, and stories from people inspired by him. Together, they built a community of hope and resilience. One chilly winter, Emma and Riley were invited to a special ceremony honoring animals who had shown extraordinary courage. Riley was nervous but proud. When they called his name to the stage, the crowd erupted in applause. Emma lifted Riley into her arms, whispering, "You did it, boy. You never gave up." Riley looked out over the crowd, his eyes shining with joy. He wasn't just a dog who had faced challenges, he was a champion. Years passed, and Riley grew older, his muzzle turning gray but his spirit undiminished. He still had tough days, but Emma's love and the memories of his journey carried him through. In their quiet moments at home, Emma would hold Riley close and tell him stories of how far he'd come, from the fragile pup nobody believed in, to the dog who touched thousands of hearts. One evening, as the sun set outside their cozy living room, Emma whispered softly, "You taught me more than I could ever teach you, Riley. You taught me about courage, hope, and love." Riley closed his eyes, feeling safe and loved. He knew one thing for sure, no matter the challenges, never giving up made all the difference. And his story continues, a legacy of courage, love, and hope for all who face obstacles.